Word RX. The Word is medicine.
I'm motivated to leadership because of the will of the Father, the will of God, the will of God. What is God's will? What is God's will? I'm thinking, what is God's will? You know, if you always want to live according to God's will, you also want other people to live according to God's will. For example, why do we even care to pray for the sick around the world? Because sickness is not God's will. That's why we pray for the sick. When people get sick, they can fulfill their purpose. They can serve God. It's not God's will for them to be sick. And we want God's will to be done in their lives. God's will. Why do we pray for the nations? Because we want God's will to be fulfilled. See, when you look at circumstances in certain places and you see this is not the will of God, then you're motivated to leadership with your knowledge of the will of God, and you want to make things different. You want to change things because your life is for the will of God. You know, when you read in the Bible, several times you see an expression like in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 1. You'd see this expression from Paul the Apostle. Ephesians chapter 1, you find saying that Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God. He knew he became an apostle by the will of God. If you're thinking about a project, is it God's will? Whatever the endeavor is, are you motivated by the will of God? Do you know the will of God in the situation? Is it God's will? Or is this your will? There's a difference. You want to live according to the will of God. Let me read some things to you about Jesus. St. John's Gospel chapter 5 and verse number 30. Notice what he says. I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which has sent me. Wonderful words from the lips of the man of Galilee. How inspiring. Think about that. He says, I'm not here to do my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. Are you conscious that you came into this world to fulfill God's purpose? Or do you think you came here to fulfill your own dream? How do you want to live? How do you really want to live? Consider it. Consider it. You didn't plan your coming to this world. You're not responsible for how you got here. Why do you think you should be responsible for what you do here? You need to know what you're supposed to do. Discover your purpose. Discover your purpose.
To watch and get other related messages from Pastor Chris, kindly explore the Pastor Chris Digital Library, available on the LoveWorld App Store.